Hey, Carson, thanks for taking the time. We'll get right to it. Let's start with Ruben Frank and then John McMullen.
Hey, Carson. Thanks for your time. Hey, Michael Silver from NFL Network had a report late Sunday night where he referred to the Eagles being concerned with your sloppy practice habits. That's his quote. Just wonder if you've heard about that, if you had any reaction to it, and just how you feel about your practice habits.
Yeah, I mean, are my practices perfect? No. I mean, that's why it's practice. But as far as sloppy practice habits and those things, for one, I mean, you guys are out there every day, and then you guys are asked to leave. So the media's not even out there. So I don't know where that's coming from. But it is what it is. I know I'm not perfect. I know that's why it's practice, and I got to be better all the time. But I'm always out there working. I know everybody else is. So I haven't seen any of that from myself or really from anybody. We're out there busting our tails every day. And do mistakes happen? Absolutely. But is that something that I've seen or that I'm worried about from myself or anybody else? No, I'm not.
Hey, John McMullen and then Tim McManus.
Hey, Carson. To kind of follow up with that, you've been playing here for 5 years now, so you kind of know the gig and how much outside talk there is. How much do you compartmentalize that? And as far as coaching, you've also been through different increments. And when people talk about hard coaching, how do you think that's changed for you as you've gone through these seasons?
Yeah. As far as compartmentalizing, to be honest, I mean, I don't listen to a lot of the noise because all that really matters is inside this building. And I've made it a habit and a point of emphasis of staying off of social media for the past couple of years. And that's just, whether it's good or bad, it's just, all that matters to me is the locker room, this organization, and how we're going to get better. And as far as coaches, yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple different personalities, couple different coaches, coaching styles, everything. And I have a great relationship with all these coaches, and I think they all work their tails off just like us players. And honestly, right now we're just not hitting or clicking on all cylinders, but I'm really confident that we're going to get it turned around.
Okay, Tim McManus and Zach Berman.
Carson, you had mentioned a couple of times this year the idea of trusting yourself, trusting kind of what you see on the field. Is that something that you're working through still? And what are your thoughts on what's leading to that and how to solve it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel confident in my decisions and everything, and just trusting my eyes and my reads and progressions and everything. Is it perfect? No. I mean, I'm going to say the same thing over and over. Are there mistakes every week? For me, absolutely. And can it be better? For sure. But as far as just trusting my decisions and trusting, playing fast, trusting my instincts, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but I feel pretty good in a pretty good place mentally when it comes to that.
Okay, Zach Brown and then Bo Wolf.
Hey, Carson, I remember a few years ago, I think before the 2018 season, you mentioned completion percentage as an area you wanted to improve. So I imagine it's a stat you're at least cognizant of. You've been sub 60% here the last 5 games. Is that because of more downfield shots? Is it accuracy? How do you allocate? Or I guess, how do you explain that?
Yeah. I mean, it's a culmination of a lot of things. Are there missed passes and things I'd love to have back every week, without a doubt. Should that number be higher? Absolutely. I'd love to see that higher, and that's something for us offensively is just, positive plays, staying ahead of the chains, all of those things. And sure, can it be, taking shots, being aggressive? Can it be a lot of things? It for sure can. But do we all around here, myself included, strive for that to be much higher? Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to kind of getting that thing going in the right direction. And, I think that'll lead to a lot more success offensively and staying out of the 3rd and longs and those sorts of things.
Okay, Bo Wolf and then Jeff McClain.
Carson, on those sort of, missed connections, it seems like there have been a lot of them when you're targeting Miles. Do you agree with that? And is there anything that you can point your finger to that those have been just off by a little bit?
That's a good question, and we've definitely watched and talked a lot about it. I think Miles and I got to just keep working, being on the same page, and I can be better. That's what I said. I mean, are there misses and things that happen out there every week? Yes. And is that stuff that we can clean up in practice? That's the plan. That's the plan. And whether it's Miles or just being off by just a little bit with a lot of these guys, those are things we can get cleaned up and get going in the right direction.
Okay, Jeff McClain and then Paul Domowitz.
Carson, Doug said this morning that he agreed that he probably needs to do a better job of getting you outside the pocket taking advantage of your ability to throw and the move. Why do you think that hasn't really been the case much this year as in years past?
I think it's a lot of reasons. It's a culmination of every week has a different game plan and different defensive schemes that we're playing and how the defensive ends play and just the ability to actually get outside clean. And there's a lot of factors that go into that, and the coaches do a really good job of studying that and finding ways to do that. Or some weeks saying this maybe isn't the week. And so I know I love it. I love when I'm out of the pocket and just can kind of make plays and move and change the launch point and everything. But coaches do a good job of sprinkling that in when and where it applies.
Okay, Paul Domowitch and then Mike K.
Carson, you're dealing with a really young receiving core that you didn't have a chance to work with in the spring and summer, and a first-round pick who's missed a big chunk of this season. How's the timing been coming along with these kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good. You mentioned it. I mean, the actual reps and the chemistry has been limited in the ability to grow that relationship. But that's why I'm excited for really the second half of the season. I think we've gotten a lot of experience together throughout training camp and now experience in games with a lot of these guys. And they're starting to play faster. I'm starting to trust them. And there's things that are getting better. And I think that will keep going and keep trending that way. But by no means is that an excuse. Young guys, none of that. This is the NFL, and we gotta learn on the fly and be able to adapt and adjust, and we can be better, and we will be.
Mike K. and then John Clark.
Hey, Carson, Andrew Zendejo is starting at safety for the Browns, and you obviously practiced against him quite a bit last year. When there's a DB or a linebacker on another team you've practiced a lot against and have a history with, how much can that kind of help you in kind of the moment and preparing for a game against that coverage?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, we practiced against Sendeo for a while, and a lot of respect for him. Played him before, practiced against him for a while, and now going up against him this week. A lot of respect for him as a player, and he's kind of a ball hawk. He's kind of all over the field and loves to disguise things and really mix up coverages and make, like I said, disguise things really well. So a lot of respect for him, but it can help. You learn kind of that player's mindset. You learn how they, how aggressive they like to be or not aggressive in certain cases. And so that can definitely help. And I'm excited to compete against him for sure.
John Clark and then Martin Frank.
Hey, Carson, obviously it's really tough to keep trying to come from behind in a lot of games. The offense has gotten off to some slow starts in a lot of the games recently. Do you see the issues there, and what are you seeing is happening, and how can you maybe, get off to faster starts?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Don't get me wrong. It's frustrating to start slow and, sometimes, like you mentioned, fall behind in games. And I don't know what the numbers are, but I know we're not doing terrific early in games. And offensively, that's something that we need to study and we need to look long and hard. And, is it one little thing that's costing us a drive? Is it, certain plays? Is it, I think a lot of it just comes down to execution. And, we can have 10 guys doing the right thing. And if, I miss a throw or one guy, one little thing can kind of derail a drive and kind of set us back. That's stuff that we got to take care of, especially early in games, and be better with.
Okay, let's take two more here with Martin Frank and Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Carson. I wanted to follow up on a question about Jalen Reagor. Obviously, he's kind of learning on the go as the season goes along. But what have you seen, like, as far as his confidence is concerned, and how much do you think that'll help him further down the road as far as establishing himself as a top receiver?
Yeah, his confidence is great. I've never really questioned that with him, and really all these young guys. They've come in with a lot of confidence and a lot of energy and excitement. And I think I've seen that be consistent, whether he's making a lot of plays or even when he was out for a couple weeks. His confidence and his energy and excitement level has always been the same. So just continuing to develop that and work with him about certain routes and just details of plays and routes and those sorts of things, I think has been really good. Lots of conversation, lots of good, healthy conversation, and that's why I'm excited for the second half of the season for us to keep building that chemistry and keep showing it on Sundays.
Okay, we'll end it here with Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Carson. When you sit down with Doug and kind of go over plays for the upcoming week, do you find yourself ever pushing those plays that kind of get you outside of the pocket because you said you enjoy them?
At times, I think the same thing holds true with what I said as far as coaches designing the game plan, but, just communicating with them, when is the right time to get outside the pocket? What certain defenses just make it hard, and I'm aware of that. Coaches do a good job of kind of communicating that with me and everything. So I think he definitely has a good feel. Is it something that maybe we can do here and there every week? And there's times that it's successful, there's times it's not. But I think Coach does a good job of that, and everyone putting together the game plan. It's something that they look at every single week.
Okay, thanks, Carson.
Thank you, guys.